Coffee with Carlson. Today we begin a new chapter. Today we call episode 1, season 2. And over the last 6 months I've been coming up with these different intros. Most of the time I give a pretty good one, and then Dan tells me that we're not live yet, so then I do a really bad one. So I watch all these YouTubers that I watch, like, good evening everyone, this is Tucker, welcome to Tucker Carlson tonight, or this is Anthony Brian Logan, or the Hodge Twins. I don't know which one, but I'll come up with something unique just to Coffee with Carlson. So again, good morning. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 1. We're glad to have you today. I wanted to show you, I wanted to read something from my morning devotional today, which I thought was timely because it was this morning, and it was meaningful. So here's the excerpt from the end of my devotional today. Have you faced a personal defeat recently? If so, don't view it as final. Learn from it and move ahead. Trust God to give you strength. Use that temporary setback as one more step towards success. That's what we're doing today. One more step towards success. We're going to move toward, this show anyway, is going to be focused more on accounting, business, small businesses around the community. And really what I'm probably going to focus on are issues that come up during the week. So issues that come up with clients or new clients or people that I talk with over the week that I think are relevant, that might be important to you. I know a lot of my audience from the past 6 months, maybe this isn't a topic that's of high interest to you, but maybe it is to your friends, your spouse, your children, or your parents. So if it is, maybe you can share that with them. We're also going to be playing with the streaming thing and haven't decided how we're going to do that yet. But I'm going to put a link to the YouTube channel in the description, or probably in the comments, so it doesn't hurt the Facebook algorithm. I'll put a link to the YouTube channel in the description, so in the comments, so that you can click on that, like, share, hit the little bell, so that you'll be able to follow us and see when new videos are posted. So today, small business talk. Today we're going to talk about 3 things that have come up recently and that are on top of people's minds, especially in Highlands County, but also all across the country, state and country, and things that I've been working on for my clients. The first one I wanted to talk about is the new executive order by President Donald Trump that allowed for payroll tax deferral for employees. And we've received a lot of questions from our clients because this is something relatively new. The forms are being amended to be able to report it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of short bit of how it works and what my opinion of it is. We're also going to lose Morgan's disclaimer at the end, but just before the show we were talking about maybe I need a disclaimer, a general disclaimer. So Mrs. Swain, if you're watching, maybe you shoot a message over to Bob and ask Bob to go ahead and start working on that. Start working on that for me. I think my microphone's not close enough. How's that, Dan? Is that better? But anyway, Mrs. Swain, if you're watching, shoot a message over to Bobby. Tell him that's something he needs to start working on, getting some billable time for me. Or even to Mr. Swain, maybe he can do it. So first thing, this payroll tax deferral is only related to the employer's share of Social Security tax, which is 6.2% of their wages. And what it allows you to do is stop withholding that out of their paycheck, gives them a little increase in pay through the end of the year, but it's really a loan that the employee is taking out, although the employer would be on the hook for it if it doesn't get paid back. So this is a kind of weird limbo land that a lot of people are in right now as employers anyway. And the questions that arise in some of my peer groups are, okay, great, I withhold it from an employee for 4 months, say it equals $1,000, and then they quit on December 31st. I'm still on the hook theoretically for the $1,000 to pay back to the IRS in the first quarter of 2021. But the employee is no longer there for me to withhold it from their paycheck again. So there was some talk about this potentially being a grant. A lot of discussions in my peer groups say that everyone agrees that if it turns into some sort of a forgivable grant, like the payroll protection loan, and you didn't take advantage of the deferral period, that you would still be able to take some sort of a credit on it, or the employees, and kick back that money to the employees to make sure that they get the benefit to help them keep the economy rolling. So it's kind of a good thing from that perspective. The max isn't a lot, but there are some risks involved. So I've actually recommended to all my customers, unless there's very extenuating circumstances, the employees really need the extra money in their paycheck every week, then we'll figure out some way to do it. But in general, I've been recommending to my customers, let's not do it. Just let that one go away, and you can deal with it. There are some other programs out there. I haven't had a lot of people that we've taken advantage of them either. We've had a few clients that took advantage of the overall deferral that's due in 21 and 22. But again, tax-free loan, it's something you're going to have to pay back. If you really need the money, let's take advantage of it. If you don't. My recommendation to any of you that are out there watching, if I'm not your, is there a problem?
Volume's up, down.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're having some sort of issue with the volume, so I'll try and keep the microphone a little bit closer. Is that any better? So what I recommend, if you're a small business owner, please talk to your CPA and get their opinion on it and work with them closely. If you don't have one, call Carlson Accounting. We'd be happy to help you out and work with you. We have time slots available. You can actually schedule time through our Facebook, Carlson Accounting Facebook page, or through Carlson Accounting, I don't know how to, I'm gonna have to turn the whole thing
Minor
on.
technical difficulty. We'll return to your
How's that?
morning broadcast.
Is that better? Is that better?
Yeah, it's just jumping.
All right, sorry guys. All right, I changed the plug on that one. I mean, unplug it, plug it back in. Still the same?
No, it's working.
You wanna turn the fan off?
It's not a fan. Okay.
Sorry, it's been a couple weeks. You gotta pull, there you go. See if that helped. Does that help at all?
No. All right, keep on.
All right, I'm gonna keep on then. Okay, so, again, if you wanna schedule a time to talk about that, you can do that through Carlson Accounting's Facebook page or through our webpage, carlsonaccounting.com, or you can call the office at 863-382-4141. All right, we got that out of the way. Let's go to payroll protection loan. And just a little background on this. Everyone, pretty much all business owners, most of the country is familiar with the payroll protection loan. This was a loan that went out from around April 1st through August the 6th is when that closed. And those loans were specifically to keep people employed and to keep payroll running. They ran into change the program constantly. It was kind of a moving target for everyone to try and get the funds and how you're going to get forgiveness. Because if you get the payroll protection loan and your business was shut down because you were a bar or restaurant or a gym, how do you get forgiveness on it if you're not employing anyone because you can't be open? So there's a lot of caveats with that. If you haven't applied for it yet, you can't. So those that have it already, you know what I'm talking about and some of those forgiveness things. We're currently sitting in the forgiveness period where you can start applying for forgiveness. But the forgiveness period also extended when we originally were getting these loans through your local bank. The forgiveness period, meaning the period that you were allowed to utilize the funds, was 8 weeks. So you had a very short window, 8 weeks from deposit date. So if you received the funds on April the 15th, then you only had basically 2 months to use that, or 60 days. They extended that around June or July to 24 weeks. They also extended the period of time through which you could utilize the funds through December 31st. Because theoretically, if your loan was funded the 1st of August, you would not have been able to use it up in the beginning of this period. So now we have an 8-week or a 24-week period. So if you don't use the 8-week, you can elect 24, and you can utilize the forgiveness, utilize the funds for 24 weeks. Many people who got those funds in April or May, you haven't even reached the 24-week period yet. Some of the banks have opened up accepting applications. To the best of my knowledge, no one has. I haven't heard anyone actually receive forgiveness yet from their bank. I think the banks are still kind of trying to figure that process out. So we've kind of been in a holding pattern because one other thing we were hoping would happen was that all loans under $150,000 would be receive automatic forgiveness. That has not happened yet. So what I've been telling my clients is we're going to, if you've utilized the funds, even if your 24-week period hasn't expired yet, and your bank's accepting applications, we're going to go ahead and start filling out those applications, and we'll get them, we're going to start working on them this week so that everyone can start getting their forgiveness. Because we do have some clients that got over $150,000 anyway, so we have to fill those out at a minimum. So in order to get forgiveness, there are two applications. I'm going to start by showing you very briefly. We're not going to go through this in details. I just want everyone to kind of see what you would have to do. So I'm going to show you on the computer here the full application, and Dan should be queuing that up now so you can see that. And if you just take a look at this, basic information that you would get from your original loan documents, your name. It kind of looks actually like the original application. Your loan number, how much you received, the disbursement date, because remember, forgiveness starts from the date the funds were deposited, number of employees at the time you got the loan, number of employees at the time you're applying for forgiveness, those two are supposed to be the same. Any economic injury disaster loan advance, and the application number of that. If you got that money, it's up to $10,000 advance, then you should know about that. The frequency of your payroll, and the payroll covered. And then you get into the forgiveness calculations where you go through some of the details and run these. Now, remember, this is the full application, so it takes a little bit more time. I'm going to scroll slowly. If you want to get to these applications yourself and download them, they are at sba.gov, sba.gov. You can search them too, but be very careful and make sure that you actually go to www.sba.gov. I was watching a Cobra Kai this weekend, and they said, I think it was Cobra Kai, they referred to web pages as www.cobrakai.com, which I thought was kind of funny. So this is the full application. It is, I believe it's 5 pages. You go through the whole thing and sign it at the end. These applications are submitted back to your bank that you got the original loan from. So you might not be filling out the paper version of the application. This is a fill-and-print PDF. You might be filling out an online portal too, because some of the banks have signed up for those. Dan, my cohort over here, he's already filled out a payroll protection loan forgiveness application and submitted required documentation. I guess at the time, they weren't really sure, so just give us all this stuff.
Yeah, my understanding is they're still not sure. So we gave them all the stuff, and the banks, I don't think they're quite sure yet whether they're going to have to retain that just for future audit, or if they need to provide that to the government in some form, or SBA in some form. They're not even sure yet. But the application process for forgiveness is just as easy as the application to get the loan. So it's not very difficult. You just have to compile various forms like your 941 and things of that nature for the period of time that you receive it.
And if you do your own payroll through some sort of payroll software vendor, they probably have, or yourself through QuickBooks, most of them now have application or specific reports designed for this process. I know our software does. So we've printed a few of those out to provide to customers that really kind of gives you FTE calculation, full-time equivalent calculation. It tells you whether or not you decreased someone, if you need to pay them more, those sorts of things. So now I've pulled up, are we still on my computer? Huh? That side? Is that better? Okay. All right, maybe it works now, except I think it's going to fall off the mount somehow. Oh.
You're back.
My computer ran into a problem and is now restarting. So all I was going to show you there real quick was the easy application. It was basically a page shorter than the other one. You don't have to go through as many calculations, but should still have the first page one is pretty much the same. You enter in all that original detail, and then you go through the payroll numbers and report those and full-time equivalents without going through a lot of the other details. So again, if you've used up the funds so far in your facial recognition, hi. Does everyone else smile when your iPhone or your computer is using facial? You don't smile at it?
Definitely not.
That's kind of weird.
I rarely smile anyways.
Well, and it closed down all of my windows too, so now I no longer have the applications to show you. Oh, let's see, restore. Yay!
It's
No
okay,
internet.
Jeff, because I was falling asleep over here anyways.
Were you? It is kind of not exciting stuff, but for those of you that are small business owners out there, hopefully it gives you a little bit of something to, and for some reason now I'm not connecting to the Wi-Fi. So if that comes back up, we'll come back up to it. The easy application is a little simpler. The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I can't see the full rules right now, was the Highlands County, Florida, where we're at, Sebring Haven Park and Lake Placid, Highlands County, Florida.
Loretta.
Huh?
Loretta.
Loretta, Venus. I could think of all the other small communities around town, but thanks, Dan. So in Highlands County, Florida, and many other counties received funds from the federal government as part of the CARES Act, which included all that other stuff that payroll protection, economic injury, disaster, all those things. They also received funding on a local level. I mean, they're tasked with giving it out to certain buckets. And they can't, one thing they can't do is local governments can't use the funds to replace lost revenue or to run general operations. They have to use the funds for COVID-related things. So part of Highlands County's process was to allow that. It connected to Legacies.
Our internet?
Yeah. That's how close we are to Legacy. It connected to Legacy's Wi-Fi. That's what it let me see anything. So let me see if I can pull up that simple application again real quick just to show you that. So here's the easy application. Again, it's the same first page, and then it loses the third page. So you still check off all those boxes and make those representations. Again, those are at www.sba.gov. So anyway, Highlands County received some funds through this CARES Act, and now have decided through a committee process how they're going to disperse those funds. They're going to disperse them to individuals and business in the county that have been negatively impacted by the Chinese coronavirus. The application period for that has temporarily been suspended due to an overwhelming number of applications and lack of personnel, trained personnel to take those applications. So right now, what we understand from the county is it's been temporarily suspended while they bring in some more staff and cross-train and get everyone up to speed on what to look for. So you can get to that at www.highlandsfl.gov and then CARES Fund. Oh, that scared me a little bit. So Highlands Cares, you can Google that. My dog just came in. It means my wife's in the building somewhere. Okay, go. Go, we're live, Alice. Get. Hopefully she won't yank any wires out. So that application again has been turned off since August 21st. You have to wait for a little bit for that. But in the general rules of this are for individuals up to $1,500 grant to help with living expenses, and for businesses, which we're talking about today, this is the breakdown of small business and not-for-profit. You can get $2,000 for businesses with 0 to 5 employees, $5,000 for 6 to 15, $7,000 for 16 to 25, and $10,000 for 26 to 75. We actually weren't aware that the thing was going to be turned off, so a lot of customers are in line to get these right now when the application period turns back on. Business qualification is pretty simple, actually. You have to have fewer than 75 employees. You have to have been negatively impacted by COVID-19. I'm sure there's not really anyone that has not been negatively impacted by it. And you have to be located in Highlands County and legally operating in Highlands County. There are a few ineligibility things on the website. Highlands firms you can't be a subsidiary or partially owned by someone from out of the county or a publicly traded company or hedge fund, as mentioned there. Companies with legal, there's probably one or two that were on that list that got excluded from it and couldn't get it. Companies with legal actions against them from the county. I know there's a couple of those, or any code enforcement liens, so you can't apply for it for that. And any lobbying organizations involved in lobbying. So when that keep an eye on that, because when that application comes back on, and you have a small business that's been hurting, you definitely want to apply for that. Probably most of you fall in the 2,000 to 5,000 range. Hi, wife. How are you?
Hi.
You want to come sit and hop on the show real quick?
What are you talking about?
We're talking about the Chinese coronavirus.
Yeah?
Say hi.
You know more about that than I do.
So if you need to apply for that, you can go ahead and do that. If you have any questions about it or need help, what we've done is we've got all the information that we need for our clients ready to submit and get it in line. Some of the basic things that you need to get together for that application are, for the business application, are your picture of the owner's, principal owner's photo ID, something from sunbiz.com that shows that you're an active business, a completed and signed W-9, and then a W-3 from your from 2019. So this is some of the basic stuff you had to put together. The stuff we had to really scramble to get with a copy of the pictures from of the driver's license and the W-9. That application, there is a paper version of that application. The one that everyone's submitted so far is actually online, but there is a paper version if you want to go look at it under highlandsfl.gov. You can see the information that you fill out and the stuff you have to have, so you can prepare for it when the application process reopens and go ahead and get that moving. So I hope that season 2 is exciting and informative for you and your family and friends or anyone that you know that's involved in the small business. We're going to be doing this a little bit more next week. I think I had 2 clients last week that came in, a couple of new clients, and the discussion was centered around starting a business and what form of entity, things that have gone right and things that went wrong. So I'm going to make some notes and we'll talk about those 2 examples next week and why it's important to get lawyer, accountant involved in the very beginning before you really start doing anything, because sometimes it's harder to clean up things than it is to do them right the first time. And it might be it's definitely worth a few $100s and a couple of hours of your time to get the advice that you need and not trust the internet. Just like trying to self-diagnose a medical condition, the doctor's still going to know a little bit better than you. Dan's looking at me like I need to say something.
No,
No.
just ready to
Everyone's
push the wrap
staring
up
at
button.
Oh, he's ready to turn it off, and Jessica's staring at me too. All right, hope it was informative. Please share with your friends. Don't forget, look in the comments for the YouTube description. Go over to my YouTube channel and like, share, hit the bell so you get notification when we upload new videos. Thank you.